In this section, we're going to study the topic of navigation in .NET Maui. Previously, we have known about the type of page called navigation page, and we have seen a way to navigate between two pages, but in this section we're going to go a little deeper into the topic and we're going to see different ways to navigate in a .NET Maui based project. To perform different tests, let's create a new project. Let's select the .NET Maui app template and let's name the project, for example, Navigation Demo. Once the project has been created, let's remember a little bit what we have seen about the navigation page. To do this, I'm going to create a new folder called MVVM, as we have done before. Once we have created the folder, let's create a new folder called Pages, and inside, let's create a new content page called Start Page. In the new content page, I'm going to specify some properties for the stack layout, such as having horizontal options and vertical options equal to center. Let's also create a button that says Go to page 2. Let's create a second page. Let's call it page 2. This page will also have a stack layout with its horizontal options and vertical options equal to center. In the case of this page, we will create two buttons, one that allows us to go to a third page and a button that allows us to go to the previous page or the page called Start Page. Finally, we're going to create a new content page called Final Page. In this content page, we're going to have again a stack layout with its horizontal options and vertical options equal to center. We're also going to have a button that says Go to page 2. The general idea is that we can jump from the initial page to page 2, from the page 2 to the final page, and from the initial and final pages to page 2. For this, we have to go to the startpage.xaml file, and we're going to create the event handler for the clicked event of the button. Let's go to the event handler, and previously we have seen that as part of a content page, we have a property that is going to allow us to manage a navigation stack. If you remember, we had to access it through the property called navigation dot, and we can see the push async method, which allows us to stack a new page on the navigation stack. Let's create a new instance of page 2 to go from the initial page to a new instance of page 2. Let's do the same for page 2. In this case, we're going to implement clicked events for each of the buttons. Once we have the event handlers, in the button to jump to page number 3, we're going to use the navigation property, push async, and create a new instance to final page. In the case of the second button, that should allow us to return to the previous page, we're going to use navigation again, and we have a method called popAsync, which is going to allow us to remove a page from the navigation stack to go to the previous page. As the reference of this page is already created, there is no need to create a new instance of the previous page, but only by invoking the popAsync method. This page will be automatically removed from the navigation stack. Let's do the same with final page. We go to the button and create the event handler for the clicked event. We open the code behind, and what we're going to do in this event is to invoke navigation.popAsync to go to the previous page. Finally, remember that in the app.xaml.cs file, we must indicate that we want to create a navigation stack by creating a navigation page type page. As initial parameter, we have to specify which is going to be the page that is going to start the navigation stack, which in our case is a new instance of start page. We import the namespace that is needed, and in this way we start the execution of the application. We can see here the application that is being deployed. We have the start page, we see the button that is going to allow us to navigate to page number 2, and when we press it, we navigate to page number 2. We see that we also have the icon here that allows us to go to the previous page, and we have the pair of buttons that we've specified. One to go to page 3. Also, as part of page 2, we have a button that allows us to go to the previous page, that is, to the start page. And in the same way, on the last page, we have the button that allows us to navigate to page 2. Finally, it is also possible to navigate from a specific page to the root page of the navigation stack, discarding all other pages that might be in the same navigation stack. How can we do this? Well, let's suppose that as part of the application, we want to implement in the final page a button that allows us to jump from the initial page, discarding the previous page, which is page number 2. To carry out this action, I'm going to go to the XAML file on the final page, and I'm going to implement a button in the stack layout, which is the one we see on the screen. It has a text that says go to root page, and we're going to create the corresponding event handler. Let's go to the event handler, and once we have found it, let's use the property called navigation. As part of the available methods, we have a method called pop2rootAsync, which, as its name says, it's going to allow us to go to the home page, discarding the intermediate pages that may exist in the navigation stack. Once we have done this, let's test the application to see how it behaves with this change. We can see the application being implemented. Let's go to page 3. We see the new button that says go to root page. Let's press it and see how this way we've arrived at the start page without having navigated to page number 2. This is the way in which we can navigate between different pages in a .NET Maui based application.